Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Now, I've been talking all week about automation. Hello, Susan. I'm glad you're here live, by the way. I've been talking about automation, and I was thinking about it. Do you remember the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go? I was thinking about, oh, the places you'll go, oh, the habits you'll develop, oh, the life you'll lead, if only you could automate some things. Now, there's things in our lives that we can't always automate, but there's also things in our lives that we can totally 100% automate, right? Totally 100% automate. Terry's got her bones in the freezer. She's all ready for this. Are you kidding me? So I'm going to tell you a story first. This came from Atomic Habits. I told you I'm a big James Clear fan. And he was talking about John Henry Patterson in 1844 had this little store that was basically selling to miners. So coal miner kind of guys and supplies and everything like that. And he wasn't understanding how he wasn't making a profit because he was selling all kinds of stuff. Finally figured it out that he was getting ripped off by his own employees, because back in those days there was just people hand slips and you open the drawer full of cash and you give change and all that. So it didn't take much for the unethical to really take advantage of this poor guy, and he was losing money. So he found this guy, Mr. Ritter, I think was his name, who had this he called it the impenetrable cash register. And basically what it did is after every transaction, which it rung up so that it made basically a record of it, he would take the money and put it in the drawer, and then he'd close it and it would lock. And that made it so that John Henry Patterson went from not making any money to practically overnight, in a year's time, he had a $5,000 profit. In today's terms, that would be $100,000 profit. So you think about that, it's pretty amazing what happens when you fix something that's a big problem. You can fix something. So what does that mean? When we look at that, he automated ethical behavior, didn't he? That's what happened when he did this particular thing. And I love this whole, I love talking about this particular thing because it takes the thinking out of, am I going to be unscrupulous, or am I going to do the right thing, kind of a thing, and, take the money and it's got to go into the register. I mean, everybody's there to watch. They didn't have cameras back then. They didn't have, all the other gizmos and gadgets that we have, but, there's still employee theft is one of the big problems with these kind of businesses. And this is how Mr. Patterson changed his whole business. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about, bad habits can also be based on ethics and can also be based on, all kinds of things. But the interesting thing that James Clear said about this whole thing, the best way to break a bad habit is to make it impossible. And that's exactly what he did with this cash register situation. He made it so that they couldn't rip him off anymore. So when the best way then to create a good habit is to automate it so you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's what we've been talking about all week. So here's a couple of ideas that James Clear had for automation. We have a few that we talk about all the time: piggybacking habits, setting up your morning and your evening rituals so that everything is ritualized to the degree that you wouldn't think about not doing it, right? That's how clearly important these things are. But he had some great ideas of just automating some things just to make it a little bit better. Number one was nutrition. And portion control and things like that. Sometimes, and I've shared this with you before, we eat like we are large animals coming to the trough, and eating endlessly. I used to say that, I would strap on the feed bag like one of those old plow horses and just keep going. I had no on and off. Well, I had an on button, but I didn't know how to switch off the off. Hi, Mimi. I'm glad you're here. So he says, instead of automatically grabbing the dinner plate, grab the salad plate. A smaller plate is going to force a smaller portion. And oftentimes we could be eating as healthy as all get out, but if we are strapping on the feed bag, like I said, and it's all boundless, too much food, and the groaning Thanksgiving thing, well, that's a problem. Too much is too much. He had an idea for sleeping. No more television in the bedroom. What a concept. We don't have one in ours, and we've never had one in ours. And I don't like that. I don't want to lay in bed and watch anything. I want to lay in bed and go to sleep. I want it dark, 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 dark. Hey, Betsy, I'm glad you're here. You get that, right? When it's dark, you sleep. We already know sleep hygiene, and this is one of the biggest things. And the electronics in your bedroom, bad idea. When you have electronics in your bedroom, that's going to keep you awake. If you do, at least turn off your Wi-Fi at night. Productivity. How about this one? This was a James Clear thing, and he's got a really good example for this that I'm going to share with you, is delete social media off of your phone and to delete all games. That's going to boost up your productivity. And that. We all know that, right? We all know that. For happiness, go get a dog. Am I right? I mean, today I've just been having a little Lincoln Fest, having the best time with my puppy, and he does make me happy. Doesn't petting your dog and loving him up and watching that tail wag just do something for you? It does. You can feel it. And for your health is get better supportive shoes. Have you noticed that when you have good supportive shoes when you're walking, that you feel better and you don't get backaches and all of that? Yes, Sharon, you can get a cat too. Cats purr. I think get a pet, not a goldfish. Sorry, not a guppy. He needs something with fur on it. I think that at least that's how I look at it. And then for finances, one of the things that we can do to automate and to get things figured out, we can go through all of our services. Mark did that. And we got everything cut down. We said, well, if we're going to do this, we might as well change over to that. Cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. It's amazing what happens when you talk to somebody and say, hey, this is, I'm paying too much, or you raised my bill or whatever. They don't want to lose you as a customer. They're happy to do that. Beverly got a cat for her birthday. I love that. So what we have to do is, sing the praises of technology, don't we? I mean, look what technology does for us. I ran out of coffee filters and had to borrow a couple of coffee filters while I waited for Amazon to bring them. And, Amazon's bringing them. Amazon's bringing the coffee filters. Amazon brings my dog food. Amazon brings my shampoo. Amazon brings everything to my house. So I'm delighted about everything. It can bring you groceries. You can do healthcare via Zoom now. Did you know that? You can go one-on-one with your doctor. You can even go with, counseling appointments. There's, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It was actually somebody on Shark Tank who came up with this idea of being able to Zoom and talk one-on-one with a counselor so that you can sort things out if you need that kind of help. I mean, I think this is the most brilliant idea I've ever heard of. So anyway, Wendy, I'm glad you're here. It makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? When you know that you have this technology to support the life that you want to live, and you can think about all of that. I mean, I've got the Peloton bike. How much, you want to know how much time I'm saving every day? A half hour driving and a half hour coming home. And I could have my workout done in just the time to drive there. And it's all done at home. Just amazing. Technology, folks, technology. So, the other thing is signing papers for a house, all done by DocuSign. I don't know if you've ever used that, but it's just print here, 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 and boom, you're done. It's just fantastic. So technology handles a ton of our tasks. But there's a downside. And I'm going to, I have to come to the binge watching confessional and tell you I just did it with Downton Abbey. I mean, we watched 6 seasons and I don't know, it didn't take very long. Can I just say? Binge watching. If you're on YouTube, they'll autoplay something next for you. So it's not like you're going to go to YouTube and watch 5 minutes. You can go to YouTube and keep going and keep going and keep going. They love that. They love that. There's Uber delivery. They'll give you food from any restaurant you want. There's pizza delivery. Well, that's been around for a long time, but everybody delivers now. Anything that you want. And what I've noticed, and I'm going to just pull from my own head here, this is what we say. Well, when we go and we're on our phones, or binge watching or social media, when I'm just taking a break. An hour goes by, 2 hours goes by, or calling for the people. I'm just too tired to cook. Or it'll just be so much easier if we. And this is what technology has given us the ability to do. And this is, quite honestly, this is in their marketing plan because people, technically don't want to. And if there's another option, we can get into that. Absolutely, Sharon. Those things get addictive too. Absolutely, 100%. Hi, Lisa. And Marguerite's right. Yes, say no to pizza. Pizza's, speaking of addictive, that's also addictive. So how often have we said this? I'm asking you, how often have you said these? I mean, just taking a break. How often have I said that? How often? So James Clear noticed that he was doing this a lot. And he said, I'm just taking a break. And then he'd get lost down that slide into social media. And so you know what he did? He had his assistant reset all his Facebook passwords on Monday and not give them to him until Friday. So it forced him off and it forced him into bigger creativity. He also removed social media and games from his phone. Now, that takes a lot, but think about it for a minute. He automated his productivity in favor of getting rid of all the distraction. Understanding exactly how that works, understanding how exactly what this is going to do. It's a problem. So, but we also have to look at this. One of the things that stops us from this, I'm going to call it the magical time-saving capability of being able to automate is what Benjamin Hardy calls overweighting. Are you ready for the overweighting? Isn't that a good term? We overweight because we have to research it some more, right? We overweight because we don't quite understand one little thing. We overweight and don't start it because it's not Monday. I'm not going to start until Monday. We overweight because it's not quite perfect. Anyone? Come on, raise your hand. If this is you, if this sounds familiar, have you ever put something off and instead of getting into the place of getting it down so that you can automate it, you are pushing it back so hard because of all the research that you need to do and because of all this other kind of stuff? Anyone? I'll tell you what, that's me. That is me in a nutshell. And you know what the bottom line is? Over planning kills projects. It does. Not only does it kill projects, it eliminates the magic of momentum. And you know what? These are things that move the needle. These are things that change and shift the way we get things done. There was a book from, Matheson, I think is his name, and it was called Ready, Fire, Aim. Ready, Fire, Aim. And do you know what that is? Ready, Fire, Aim means get on it, get it done, and stop messing around. When we are in the middle of overthinking and overweighting and over planning and over this and over that, we never even get to the place of automation, let alone get anything done. And then we think, well, I'm just going to take a break. Take a break from what? You haven't done anything. I'm so guilty of this. This is why I'm talking about this, because I really believe this is one of those huge obstacles that's in our way from massive productivity. It is. So to get to the place of automation, we have to start thinking in terms of ready, aim, fire. Ready, fire, aim instead. Okay, so check it out. How do we do this? I'm going to give you 10 things. 10, 10, 10. Did you see what Susan said? Yes, but after your show, I'm hitting the food store and getting week 1 done. There it is. So here, I'm going to take you through this, okay? It's going to help a lot. First, there's a mindset piece. And the mindset piece is, number 1, be okay with excellence. In other words, excellence never goes after perfection. Excellence goes after doing it the very best that we can to the ability that we have at the moment. You got me? Our definition of excellence and our levels of excellence are constantly shifting because we get better as we go, don't we? Think about doing your first sprint versus the one you just did, right? How much easier was it? How much quicker did you do it? How much more automated was it, right? Same idea. So be okay with excellence and allow for those places of stumble. It happens. Number 2, like I said, mistakes happen. Here's the deal with mistakes. And you know this, we've talked about this so much. When we get to the place of mistake, when we take out that lesson, extrapolate the lesson from the experience, then we know better and we do better. Quite simple. We don't have to roll around in it. This is what we call the experience file. The experience file is there to teach and to better us and to help us to learn from. We don't have to wallow in our mistakes. Mistakes happen because we're human. This side of glory, we will not know perfection. That's all there is to it, right? So number 3, before you automate, you labor over it. There is some labor involved. You're going to work harder. It's going to take more mental acuity, more mental energy expended toward the task. The first time you made chicken broth, and there's Wendy going, chicken feet? The first time you ever made chicken, you put chicken feet in your broth. I mean, let me just tell you, there was an emotional expendable energy going on there, wasn't there? You're just going, oh, chicken feet. Oh, and I'm making all this stuff and I don't know what I'm doing right. And help me, right? And now it's just like, boom, I'm going to stop at Walmart, get the feet. Let's get them done. Do you see the difference? First time versus now where you are, we've automated it. We've made it part of our normal. Part of this is what we do. Part of this is it. This is how it works. Automation comes from that first time of overly thinking it and overly planning and but not overly waiting. We still go ahead. We still go through. But before you automate, it's going to take a little brain power. It's going to take a minute to do. Number 4, you also got to personalize it for yourself, right? This is your program. This is your life. And when you look at it and you say, oh, well, she's doing this over there and she's doing that over there. What are we doing here? Right? We're comparing ourselves to what they're doing. Do you have 4 children? Do you have a elderly father with dementia living at home with you that you have to take care of? Do you have, what's going on in your house? Do you work swing shift? You got to adjust and customize and personalize this to fit your life, right? This is your life we're talking about. No one else's. Don't compare yourself and allow for that kind of flexibility when it comes to it. Personalizing it is everything. When you start to customize your plan to fit your life, then you're going to find something that you can do forever. Number 5, be very intentional about it. Why are you doing this? Why are you making that broth? We're making bone broth, Wendy. When we're intentional, we say what we're going to do. We announce it. We proclaim it. Remember that? Decide, decree, and declare. That's what it is. It's declarative. This becomes a manifesto. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. This is the name of the game. This is what it's all about. This makes so much sense. Because when we decide and we put our energy towards something and we make this our path, then we have no other choice but to purposefully go down that path and do the things to get it done, Or we could just sit at home with all the food bought and let it rot in our crisper. Really? Is that what you're going to do? Not on my watch. You're not. You're going to make that stuff. You're going to go make it happen. Yeah, that's right. Make it happen. Be intentional about it, because this is the thing that's moving you toward your goals. Okay. Number 6 is be present with it. When we automate things like, mundane tasks like cleaning the toilet and getting the dishes in the dishwasher and all that, go ahead and be not in it, right? Be thinking about what you're going to do next or whatever. But when you're actually preparing your bone broth, say, and especially if it's your first time, or getting ready to do it, you print it out. You print out that guide, all 18 pages. Yeah. And you can complain all you want about the ink and the paper and saving a tree and whatever. I'm not going to listen to it. Just not. I'm just going to tell you right now, point blank, she who is intentional prints it out, puts it even in little, paper protector kind of a thingies. And I mean, we're talking getting it done. You want to get it done? Then you have it in front of you. You have it intentionally in front of you. You're present with it. You are about it. No, 18 pages for the whole plan. The bone broth is just part of it, Wendy. Number 7, remember this. Remember this. This is an important one. Write it down. You are a bridge builder, okay? Bridge builders. What happens when a bridge is built? What happens? You are here, you want to go to there, you've got to build a bridge to get through that gap, to get into the place of completing that goal. There's many different tasks involved. There's the design, there's the materials, there's the tools that are needed, right? Some of it is a little bit more detail-oriented and a little bit more intense and requires special skills and all of that to get it done. And on the other hand, there's other stuff that's just mundane. We're laying down the tile. We're laying down the wood. We're laying down the whatever. I mean, however your bridge is built. Think about it. That's how this whole thing is, because some things are going to be faster and easier than others, and some things are going to be okay. So what's going on here? What is holding me up? Do I need a specialist? Can I shortcut this? What can I do about it? So, for example, I had a woman who, the whole thing, we're talking about bone broth now, the bone broth thing just held her up. And I said, just go buy it. Kettle and Fire makes it. Here's a link. They had some special going on, and it just saved her bacon. And that's how we need to be as bridge builders. We need to look for the right people, the right tools, the right everything, and get her done. That's it. That's it. Number 8. If you don't know the answer, then go ask for help. Because you know what? I read this quote today that you might look like a fool for 5 minutes by asking a question, but you'll be a fool forever if you don't. What does that tell you? Right? This is how we build our bridges, y'all. This is how we get things done. We ask for help. Hey, I don't know how to fill in the blank. Or, hey, somebody want to explain chicken feet for me? Hey, I have X, Y, and Z going on. Can you help me out? When you ask for help, you know what you're doing? You are building a bridge. You're crowdsourcing it. You're like the Amish, you're barn building, Bring in the community. Let's get her done. Makes all the sense in the world. And number 9, congratulate yourself when you finish a task. Congratulate yourself. You remember that a couple of weeks ago? We were talking about BJ Fogg and what he said as far as automation of habit and how you can go, instead of having 66 days that it takes, what did he say? It takes 66 days. Well, conventional wisdom is 21 days to form a habit. The research shows it's actually 66 days. BJ Fogg, a researcher, said in his mind, if you can get your brain on board, and that's what his whole book, Tiny Habits, is about, then you can do it in 3 days. And one of the biggest needle movers on this whole thing is to get your brain involved. So when you're done with this task, you high five yourself and you said, yes, I did it. And you might feel kind of foolish, but your brain doesn't understand that you're not doing this in front of an audience or whatever. Your brain understands that you are giving immediate feedback for what you just did, rewarding you, giving you the good feeling or endorphins and hormones hanging out and all that. It's well worth it. So make sure you invest in congratulating yourself. Amen. And then number 10 is shampoo, rinse, repeat. These 10 things, you do that, you automate. You do that, you get her done. You do that, and you're going to find yourself making it a lot simpler, a lot easier for yourself, and you will evolve with what it is that you want to do. You will change, you will get better, you will up level, all of it. Because we're never static. We're not static human beings. We don't sit in limbo. We get better. We develop. We move toward when we put it in our mind to do it. You got to do it. Oh, Wendy says she's going to go research the bone broth. Okay. Just don't overthink it. Don't overplan for it. You know, you don't need to do that. Remember that. You don't need to do that. We overweight. We want to get her done. So that's what I have for you today. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.